Hello and welcome to another edition of the Sales Circle, where we intend to bring you lots of hints, tips, advice on everything to do with sales, marketing, and business growth. I'm your host, Rob Spence, the Managing Director of Paragon Sales Solutions, and I'm absolutely thrilled to introduce and welcome to the show today, Marc Rowley of H.I.T Leadership. Marc, thank you very much.
I did appreciate you inviting me.
And I said everything correct there. I didn't make any...
You can call me Rowley, whatever you like.
Perfect. Off camera, we're having a discussion whether it's Rowley, and we got there in the end. I've had to literally pronounce it differently on my screen here.
Say what you want. Like I said, it's about what your view of life is.
Perfect. Well, look, Marc, thanks so much for coming on the show today. I'm really excited for today's show because whenever we meet, and in the grand scheme of things, we've only met face-to-face several times.
Yeah.
The conversation flows, so I'm hoping the same will go again today. But perhaps for the viewer, would you like to introduce yourself, your business, and we'll kind of flow the conversation from there?
No problem. So, as Rob said, my name is Marc Rowley. I am the founder and owner of H.I.T Leadership. H.I.T stands for honesty, integrity, and transparency. These are my business values and personal values. Very, very key to have those on board. So I help businesses increase their productivity. So you could say I'm a productivity consultant.
I love that. So the types of businesses you work with, where does that kind of stand? Do you work with anyone and everyone, or?
Anyone and everyone. Now, I have worked in IT for 28 years. However, that's enabled me to see all the different kinds of customers and how they work. So from public servants to all the way to private enterprises and obviously internationally as well. That's the key.
Perfect. Just an off-the-cuff question. It might be hard to nail this down, but obviously you got the three there, the H, the I, the T. So the honesty, integrity, and transparency.
Transparency, yes.
Is that correct? If you could just pick one of those three as a priority, what would it be?
Honesty. There's a great book called Radical Honesty.
Okay.
That doesn't mean, obviously, if you've got a partner and they come out and they look awful in something, you say, I'm sorry, darling, that looks awful.
Right, just make a note of that guy. That's clearly well. On this.
But it needs to be as honest. If you're honest, then you don't have to remember. If you, the world is full of lies as it is. So you being honest as possible. So people won't like it because sometimes the honesty is hurtful.
Yes.
But sometimes that's the best policy. Is be honest and then you never have to remember anything.
I love that. Absolutely. The web of lies isn't created, so to speak.
Exactly.
We know exactly what's going on. So apologies, remind me, how long's the business been going?
For 18 months now.
Fantastic. You're still saying it with a smile on your face, so you must be enjoying the journey?
I just love helping people. I'm a very altruistic in approach. So any time I can help businesses become the best version of themselves, that to me is just like, and get paid for it even better.
Absolutely.
It's a bonus. They do say, and anything, if you love something that much and you get paid for it, it's the best job in the world. And I think I have got the best job in the world.
I love that. That's why I started in OnlyFans. Because link in the bio. So in terms of what you're doing now, have you had some success stories you're allowed to share? You obviously don't have to name names, but have you got anything you can share?
I was going to say, because of the covenants that I've signed with customers, because obviously I treat it like counselling, so I don't.
Sure.
Unless people want to.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I had one quite recently when I was going in looking at the business culture, where they had their operations and their engineers acting separately, and there was infighting, and it was basically to get them together to realise you're all one team.
Mm.
So that culture is so important when you realise, and sometimes it's just because they don't know what the other people do. So you start, human beings, we start making that up. We say, well, I don't think they're doing their job right. These are the problems that we're having. Communication, working together in a business culture is so key. It really is.
But how many times do we hear that? Whether it's upstairs and downstairs, whether it's office and warehouse, whether it's sales and marketing, sometimes whether it's leadership and team.
Yeah,
there always seems to be an unnecessary divide in some businesses.
Very, very much so. And sometimes we overcomplicate things. Communication. So communication is so vitally important because it can be misunderstood.
Yeah.
Because we all learn in different ways. There's different learning styles. We take information differently. If it comes through an email could be taken the wrong way. That's why seeing the flesh, seeing the whites of their eyes and seeing people face to face is so important, because you can see the body language. You can tell if they're lying, if they're not telling the truth, they feel uncomfortable. Oh no, everything's okay in the business. We're going to be all right for 2024. It's like, yeah, okay, you're giving up the wrong impressions and the legs are closed and everything. So it's so important.
Absolutely. And have you noticed a trend? Because I'm a big believer in that, especially when it comes to sales. Had this email come through, they don't sound happy. What do you mean they don't sound happy? Well, they've said this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how do you know they don't sound happy? They're just words. You read it how...
Or interpretation as well, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. How many times have you had a message from the missus with the words, okay? And that okay could be, okay. Or it could be, okay.
No, that
we just don't know.
Give you a ring back. Just that one line, okay, that's a right.
Like the emoji thumbs up as well.
Yeah, no,
that's normally a red flag.
Yeah,
normally a red flag.
Red flag.
Have you noticed a trend in the, I don't want to, make connotations, but the younger generation relying too much on written format and relying too much on WhatsApp and email instead of just picking up the phone? Is that something you've noticed?
I think it depends on what industry you're in as well. You can. Some people do still prefer to write stuff down, but it's the way that we learn. Like for me, I'm auditable, so I hear things, but I then have to write it down, write a mind map. And if I do that, I absorb the information really quickly. Whereas if I write linear notes and put things out, I forget it. So different people do different things. I mean, I know, for example, my teenage daughters, they use their phones for everything. So they've got the notes on there, but they know how to use it to their advantage.
Yes.
Now, being in IT for 28 years, I love my gadgets. So I'm constantly using the messaging, the notes, the calendar, everything that was possible just to make it easy to communicate with, but also to gather the information.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. So obviously you've not been doing this all of your life, so it's been going 18 months.
Yeah.
So take me back to the early days of Marc. Where did your career start, and how what was that journey for you?
Well, I'll take a bit further back. So I was dyslexic. I'm dyslexic. So at school, I was told thick, stupid. You're not gonna, So I didn't know what my abilities were, and then I spent some time at a solicitor's ball. My wife was in her last year at university, and I was having a intelligent conversation with future barristers and lawyers and stuff. So I realised that I wasn't thick and stupid. So I spent a weekend in a library learning all the acronyms, IT acronyms, and I got a job as a communication consultant for Imbricon, they were at the time. And that's what was my way into IT. And then from there, I led a team, and I just kept moving up the ladder. So this is how I built my breadth of knowledge and experience. I've worked my way up from the bottom to not to the very top. I have now with my own business, obviously.
Yeah.
But each time I've grown understanding how to get the best out of people, but also to understand about equity.
Yeah.
So we have equality in our lives, but equity is understanding that every single person is different. Everybody's on a different journey. They've learned they've taken in information, their family, the way they're educated, the culture, the background, where they live. Everybody's different, and everybody has a different need. So I realised that quite early on. That was what I needed to focus on, the people side of leadership.
Yeah.
And it just snowballed from there. It was fun. I've loved my journey.
I can clearly see that smile is so infectious about it all. So along that journey, obviously I know you've led some teams and so on. In terms of, can you remember that sort of first leadership role you were put into? How did you feel when you sort of put into that kind of leadership responsibility?
I think, I was leading teams at school and stuff like that. So I've always been a natural person, confident, assertive, being able to manage people. I think in a business concept was, I worked for a cable TV installation company down in Luton.
Right.
We did Beds, Bucks and Hearts, Hertfordshire as well. And I was leading, some guerrilla type people. they were digging gardens and doing things like that. Yeah. So I led those teams there, and I really enjoyed that. That was my first taste of proper leadership and finding out the different ways, because everybody's, like I said, everybody's different.
Yeah.
So how to get the most out of those people and stuff. So yeah, that was the first taste of real leadership, and it was a real steep learning curve.
Yes,
definitely.
yeah. But did you find that sort of hands-on experience, so to speak, gave you like a good foothold? Did that give you a good foundation for your skills?
Immediate feedback, and because I was working, I was probably a bit disrespectful saying gorillas, but they're
we would edit up it's out.
hard-nosed blokes.
Yeah.
Grounds people that dug the gardens out. That they were engineers. They were, it was a very male orientated environment.
Yeah.
And so you got immediate feedback, and that was brilliant.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you did the wrong thing, you were told very, very, very quick. Oh, very much so, in a very male way. So you'd learn, your learning curve was so steep.
Yeah.
And I think that was really vital.
Amazing. So you've had this career, and of course, from what I've read on your LinkedIn, and please, if you'd like to connect with Marc on LinkedIn, please do so. We'll leave a link somewhere below the video. You could have had a very good, well, you did have a good career. You could have extended that career out into the, various corporates and sat back and relaxed, but you've decided to set up a business. Why?
There is a desperate need for businesses to understand how to get the most out of their people to actually earn more revenue and be productive. So throughout my corporate life, I have battled against some leadership that is wrong. And I understand what stress does to the body and stress does to people. If you're in a stressful situation for more than 10 minutes, you can lose up to 50% of your cognitive ability, your thinking ability. So, mistakes can happen from that. So I got up to, I was years and years working for those different companies. And then I actually joined a company, a Curve Group. Okay. And fantastic. It was actually Cloud saying who it was. And they actually allowed me to lead in an empathetic way with humility. And the results were just amazing because they understood the psychology around it. And it was beautiful. And I was in the right place at the wrong time there. The growth they were going through.
Right.
I just felt I just needed more. Mm-hmm. And I did a video for them and I spoke about honesty, integrity, and transparency. And then something in my head clicked.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, okay, this is what I need.
Yeah.
This is what I need to do. And I started the business up on the 18th of May, 2022.
2022.
Yeah, so I'm really, it was at that point, HIT, honesty, integrity, transparency. And it was then, everything just like flowed.
Click. That click just came about, so to speak.
Exactly.
Some interesting facts there, really. And there's some things I want to dive into. Just remind me of that statistic. He said, for every 10 minutes you're in a stressful situation, you lose 50%.
If you're living in stress, you get high cortisol levels, okay? And that will start degrading, and obviously it puts you into fight or flight mode. Mm. So blood starts to go to different areas of your body that's needed for you to run away or fight.
Sure.
Well, you don't need your thinking ability, and it affects your memory. It actually shrinks your hippocampus, and that's for short-term memory,
right?
And decision-making. And that's where you lose the cognitive ability.
Wow.
Now, if you do it for longer, your amygdala starts to increase. There's two amygdalas, but for purposes of this conversation, I'm just going to say, but that starts to increase, and that's when you start building up defenses, and it can cause lots of problems. People don't realise the link between stress and heart disease, irritable bowel syndrome, cancer. There's just so many things. They're finding new ways. I mean, Alzheimer's, and they were talking about it's a trigger. Not stress doesn't cause it, but it's living in stress. The cortisol stays in your body, and if you don't get rid of it, it can cause problems. It's carcinogenic. It can cause long-term problems. I know someone who's got. They were told 30 years ago they've got type 2 diabetes because of stress.
Wow.
And all these evidence is out there, and it breaks my heart. And this is why I want to try to help companies see that, because if people really understood what stress does, they wouldn't work.
They wouldn't put them under stress. Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't get the most out of them. Now, I understand. Got to get the money in, got to get the revenue. But being empathetic, a leader, using humility, motivating and enthusing people actually gets productivity.
Yeah.
People start getting involved. They want to be part of the journey. And this is this is where I'm trying to help businesses understand.
I really like that. And I'm always a big believer that, you know, even for us here at Paragon, our people are our biggest asset. And, you know, I want our people to be more important than I am in some respects. But I still find it incredible to this day where you can walk into those places. And I wonder if you do the same, where you can pretty much feel that toxicity. You can feel that tension. You can feel the stress in the air. And there's that kind of the leading by fear to some degree. Does that still happen? Are you recognise?
Yeah, you get narcissistic leadership as well, because they believe they produce the right things, but actually they produce more productivity by being respectful to people and not putting them under that so much pressure. I think it's because businesses, they look at one metric. What's the bottom line?
Right. Yes.
That's it. You need to incorporate more metrics. You need to what's the employee well-being? How productive are they being? So then that micromanaging element as well is so destructive.
Yes.
Now, obviously, you have to micromanage at a certain level, but once they get that certain level of competence, you empower them and let them go.
Allow them to fly.
Yeah. And for all human beings, mistakes will happen. But as long as they happen and they're learned from, that's the key.
Absolutely.
And yeah, that kind of, you see, when you're a leader, you are quite a dominating person. I think if you do any of the personality style tests.
The tests, yeah. You don't want to do this on a Facebook test.
No,
it's not an in-depth thing. Yeah.
It's actually, you're a dolphin or something like that.
Probably I'm a Hermione Granger.
No, I don't know. I knew that. I did.
Spell around.
But if you look at these personalities, there's a lot of leaders do have that high dominating factor. You'll see it as red in insides or discs or Mars-Briggs or something like that. And I get that. You know, you have to be powerful. You have to have drive and passion. But if you're making sure that the people that are leading them understand equity, that they understand individual needs. I can give you an example.
Well,
there was a chap who never came out on Christmas dues, or if we went to the pub after work or anything like that. Came in, did the work, went home. That was it. So fantastic. But I was on one-to-ones with him, and when I lead people, I like to have an hour's worth of one-to-one, 15 minutes talking about how you doing your performance, how you do with your development, Right, let's talk about you. Let's find out about you. How are you doing? What's going on in your life? What are your coping mechanisms?
Yeah.
And I found out that he was actually saving up to buy, I think it was one of these big BMW, Honda bikes that other bikes are available.
Yeah. We have no brand to know, no brand.
But one of these big bikes there, and he was going to travel all that, all around calendar. I was going to do the trail, the famous trail,
right
there. And that's according with it. That's his life's purpose. His why, his passion was to go around Canada.
To do that.
And so once I knew that, it's like, okay, would you like me to get you onto extra shifts? Or would you like me to help you develop so you can get a better role? And it was so grateful when you realise what someone's passion is.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't being intrusive. I'm not saying that businesses should be families. You should know all the ins and outs. But you spend more time at work than you do with loved ones. So really getting to understand people is so vital. And sometimes in a fast-paced organisation, you don't have that luxury.
No.
And there are ways around that. You can do these sheets, one-page sheets where it tells you who you are, what your coping mechanisms are, what you enjoy, what your sports, what your music tastes, what your food tastes, that kind of thing. But really getting to where people are in their life's journey is so key.
Too right. Yeah, it allows that motivation to come through, I guess. I know stress is a really in-depth subject, and I think you should never, plaster over the cracks, so to speak. But I'm conscious that there's going to be some viewers on here who perhaps work alone, or perhaps getting into freelancing or setting up their business, so they've not got someone above them.
Yeah.
If someone's recognizing that they're feeling stress or they're feeling that tension, have you got any, like I say, it's not something you can just plaster over, but have you got any top tips to kind of just alleviate stress, or is it not a one-size-fits-all?
You're completely right. It's not one-size-fits-all, but self-awareness is the key. If you understand, because then you can understand yourself. Right. So if you're going on holiday and after 3 days you're feeling really weird, that means normally you're stressed, because you can get addicted to cortisol as you can to dopamine. So when doom scrolling, and you're getting the dopamine hits.
3 hours on my TikTok.
Yeah. You do, but you see, you can get addicted to cortisol as well. Right. Which, that's poison. And so it's understanding how you're feeling. So if you're getting palpitations, if you can't eat, or you've got throbbing, or you're not thinking right, or you're more irritable, this incivility that occurs where you're being disrespectful, putting people down, and just cursing, just being not a very nice person. I mean, stress will cause that.
Right.
So it's self-awareness is key. So once you've got self-awareness, then you can know what to do with it.
You know what needs to be fixed, or you can start to investigate.
Exactly. But coping mechanisms: get enough sleep, get your heart rate up.
Okay.
Do half an hour, 4 times a week. Just get your heart going. Do some sport. Do a sport, or just go for a run or a walk. Just do something that gets the blood going around your body, and train. Do some training. And so I try to tell people. People focus on, I've got to get strong, I've got to get fit. Yeah, but train your mind as hard as you train your body.
Yes.
So if you can meditate, you can. I mean, obviously, some people with the neurodiversity can't meditate.
Yeah.
And so then that's when Lego comes out.
Okay.
All meditation is focusing on one single thing.
Right, okay.
So if you've got Lego, a jigsaw puzzle, crocheting, I don't know, it could be anything.
Just something to hyper-focus on and take your way.
That's correct, yeah.
I love that.
Jigsaw puzzles, making, I don't know, clock towers out of matchsticks.
Yeah.
Anything at all. For music, a musical instrument, it just takes you the focus that's required there. And it's the chatter in your mind goes down and you've got laser focus. That is meditation.
Do you know what? That explains a lot with what I do.
There's
a guitar behind you, so I do a lot of music. I game a lot because I'm allowed to just hyper-focus in the. I know you're a gamer as well, yeah. Because in that moment you are focusing on that one thing. There's no other life. You're there. So guys and girls, if you need an excuse to buy that big Lego set that you've been putting off for years, Marc here is giving full exposure.
Yeah, recommend
Yeah, absolutely. With the seal of approval, we'll get some notes together or something. We can send it to your partners. Maybe we'll get that sorted.
One thing I would say is with gaming, just remember your brain doesn't understand the difference between what's real and what's not. That's why you can sit there watching a horror film and be really frightened.
Yeah.
Or watch, I don't know, like The Notebook. I don't know if you've seen that.
Oh, I've watched too many times.
I can't watch it because I'm just burst into tears. Now, I'm not afraid to mention it, but I cry. But it's not real. It's a TV thing. It's on a screen. But our minds don't know the difference between what's real or not. So if you're playing game and you're getting hyper stressed and stuff like that, no, that's not good.
It's probably the opposite of what we.
But that's it. Yeah. If it's adventure and stuff like that, so or you take great pleasure in killing zombies or something. So
yeah. Well, it's funny you say that. I sometimes stay up too late playing shooting games like Warzone, and then can't sleep because I feel like I've been in the trenches. Yeah. And I have PTSD. We probably should joke about that, but
it's true. Yeah. Your brain
gets switched on. Yeah. Too much. So. In terms of I know that you've put together 5 Ps. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
Yeah. Tell me about your 5 Ps.
Well, I actually say I can turn the 5 Ps into 6 Ps.
Interesting.
Yes. So the 5 Ps is people, products, processes, partners, and perseverance.
Okay.
And what that produces, now I've had to write this on my hand because I get this wrong.
Show the camera. I think the camera needs to see this. We'll get a little jump cut into that.
So those 5 Ps create 6 Ps.
Right.
And you might think, what the blooming heck is he talking about? So positive people empower, produce productive personnel.
Wow.
So
say that again, Marc. Say it again.
Positive people empower, produce productive personnel.
Wow.
But that's what the 5 Ps does. So if you then do people, products, processes, perseverance, and partners, if you get all those right, your business will just fly. Your revenue will increase. Everybody's happy.
Love that.
Yeah, and that is the 5 Ps is really important. It's key.
Absolutely.
It hits all on those elements as well.
I can see straight away a whole merchandise deal being signed here. T-shirts, tea towels, motivational posters, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to think.
There you go. You can have that one. It's 20% commission. It's all charged.
You always sell it.
Sleazy salesman. So do you feel that there's a direct correlation then into, because obviously when we talk about here, you know, on our show, we talk about, you know, predominantly sales, marketing and business growth. Do you feel that there is a direct correlation between the, you know, the people and to a degree the kind of atmosphere we have in a business to business growth? Do you feel that it, you know, they're huge?
If your people are what drive your business, your people are what produce your revenue. Yes, you may have a product, but who sells it, who markets it, who supports it, who delivers it, who, you know, all those different elements, all the touch points within a business. Your people are so important. So that leadership is vitally important
from the top.
Yeah. If you've got incivility, you've got people shouting, stuff like that, they need emotional intelligence. I mean, that, whilst I told you productivity, you know, I've got 47 different training packages that I go into businesses. So everything from emotional intelligence to mindfulness to how to do inductions, how to do performance management, how to put smart goals in place, how to use different systems to coach people.
Yeah.
So then produce a vision that everybody can work to, business culture, the whole lot. So it's really, that's the thing with productivity. They don't realize it hits so many different areas.
Yeah.
But I reduce it to just 5 P.
5/6.
Yeah, well, do 5 and you get 6.
I love that. So I guess in terms of people watching this, you know, there's going to be some people that are probably leading a team. There's going to be some people that probably, you know, have a team under them. There might be someone watching this who's sort of about to take that step to grow their team. They might be just taking on their first, or second, or the third employee. Do you feel that there's a good stage for you to step into a business and support? You know, obviously I assume that's as early as possible, but what do you feel about, let's say someone's starting their employment journey, what should they have in place? Should they speak to you first?
Yeah, I mean, if they're starting to recruit people, okay, the way, you know, you're bringing people into your business, you've got to make sure that they fit your values, that they fit the kind of personal attributes that you need within a business. Because one bad apple can spoil a whole barrel, and this is the thing, I've seen this happen. All you need is negative Nelly there just to absolutely ruin the vibe, the culture, the productivity. Stress levels go up, you start getting bitchy conversation.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
We all know that mood hoover.
Yeah.
And if we don't, it's probably you. It's not an issue, you know.
Yeah.
They are a dime a dozen at times, aren't they?
They do. I mean, you could say, especially in some businesses, because of the stress, they become that. But if they come in and then they're that, you can teach skills, you can't necessarily teach attributes and behaviours.
Sure.
So you've got to make sure their behaviours align with what you want. And that, I think that's one of the best things I could say to, if you're recruiting for yourself, learn emotional intelligence, because it will stop you being stressed and it will help your teams.
Yeah.
But the kind of people that you're having in, they've got to fit a particular model, a particular kind of behaviours. You can teach them, train them skills, that's fine. Behaviours and attributes, they're key.
Absolutely. I love that. Final question from me then, Mark. This is the question I told you to prepare for. It's a question we ask all of our guests, and I want to kind of focus on your business for a moment. So you're 18 months in to the business. If you could go back as your current self, I'll put you in a time machine, you go back to day one of business.
Yeah.
What would you tell yourself? What guidance, what advice would you say?
Get in lead generation at the beginning.
Damn straight.
Yeah, I know. You're not good with that. I realise now, you know, you're battling against quite a lot. So your lead generation is, because it doesn't come out of thin air.
Yeah.
The work that's required by having sales and having that right kind of lead generation coming in, that is so vitally key.
Yeah.
And I'd give myself learning that on day one.
Yeah.
Or actually minus 30 days in.
And let's not be around the bush. Of course, you can, you know, use a company like Paragon Sales Solutions, but you can do it yourself as well.
You can. I mean, but yeah, sometimes you've got to let people who know what they're doing do it, because we've all got skills. Outsourcing is probably one of the things. I like to keep things in-house.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to outsource things to get things going.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I've fallen short on, to be honest with you. And that's what I would tell myself if I could go back 18 months. So yeah, get your lead generation in. You need it.
Absolutely. And just to be clear, Mark is getting paid no money for this. To say lead generation, but yeah, 100%. And it's, the funny thing is I always say I believe that if we call it, sales, lead generation, whatever, I think that is to a degree the most important part of business. But I think many business owners, weirdly, they neglect it. They set up shop. Whether they open the shop door, whether they sit down at the desk, and they think that because they've shared a post on Facebook and their mums liked it, that all of a sudden they're going to have customers flocking to them. Having those direct leads in for you to close and convert is important for growth.
Definitely, because you have people out there who suffer from the sunk cost fallacy, where they've done something over and over again and there's no change in their minds. And sometimes to get through that, you need an experienced person to be able to navigate,
help and guide.
Yeah, absolutely. Get your foot in the door.
So what's next for H.I.T Leadership? What's next for the business? What's next for Mark?
It's still growth. Doing some interviews for consultants around the country so we can expand out. But also I've got a charity I'm setting up as well, helping young people 16 plus gain valuable life and business skills just to help them through life, just to give them that good grounding to keep them out of prison, keep them out of gun crime, knife crime, drugs, whatever, just to help them. I think we really need this in our country and in the world, really. We've got to look after the people coming up, because they are going to keep the world turning.
Absolutely.
And that's really got to keep us. So that's what I'm planning on doing.
Fantastic. Well, I'm excited to see that. And of course, it goes without saying, obviously myself and Paragon will do all we can to help and support charity. Ignite is the name, is that right?
Yes, yeah, Ignite is igniting the flame of empowerment. So that's the key.
Amazing.
Just at we're just starting out now, but I think we've got everything set up, CIO, the education syllabus, and we're just getting the right people on, because let's be honest, they don't want to sit in front of a 50-year-old bald white bloke and trying to tell them what to do. We need to get people in, 20-somethings that are in their cultural value, who they can respond to, but also respect.
100%. I love that. Well, look, in terms of, I'd love to keep the conversation flowing. How is best for people to contact you? Where's best for people to find you? Is it your website, your LinkedIn?
I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on my website is hitleadership.co.uk. I have another one called Stress Free Productivity. We can book a free consultation. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on X. I'm on all the platforms.
All of them.
That's it. Yeah. So get a chance to have a chat. I mean, if you don't believe some stuff, everything we do, we research things so people don't have to, and that's why we provide all the evidence to support anything that we say, and that's key.
Absolutely. And obviously that offer of a free consultation will be great. I've known Mark now, well, digitally for probably since the formation of the business, really, but we've only really met a couple of times, and every time we do speak, it's full of value. I think when you came into the office, I genuinely think we were here for 2 hours and we were talking, and we literally had to get someone with a hook to drag us out of the office, because we could have spoken all day. And that free consultation, Mark really knows his stuff. If you're running a business, if you own a business, if you're looking to start up a business, get in touch with Mark. Mark certainly knows his stuff. Well, look, really appreciate your time today, mate. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you.
I really enjoyed that. Thank you.
No, thank you. And thank you to you, the viewer, for joining us today on this episode. It's been great to share this value with you. Of course, before you go anywhere, don't forget to like the video, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when new videos are coming up. And until next time, all the best.